Hello and welcome back to our channel. Today we are going to talk about something that can completely change your English journey. Many people study English for years, but still feel afraid to speak. They forget vocabulary quickly, they lose motivation, they feel confused, and slowly many people give up. But the truth is this: learning English does not depend only on talent. It depends on smart learning, daily practice, focus, consistency, and the right mindset. Some people learn faster not because they are smarter, but because they use better methods. In this video, you will learn powerful and smart English learning tips that can help you learn faster, remember more, speak better, stay motivated, and improve your English more effectively. Everything will be explained in very simple English for beginners. So relax, focus carefully, and let's start building smarter English learning habits together. Lesson 1. Learn English every day. One of the biggest reasons many people fail to improve their English is simple. They do not practice consistently. They study English one day with full motivation, then stop for 3 or 4 days. Then they start again, then stop again. This creates very slow improvement. Learning English is like building muscle in the gym. If a person exercises once and then disappears for 1 week, the body improves very slowly. English works the same way. Your brain needs regular practice, not sometimes, daily. Another important truth is this: you do not need to study English for 10 hours every day. Many learners think if I cannot study for many hours, there is no point. This is wrong. Even 20 minutes, 30 minutes, or 1 hour daily can create huge improvement over time. Consistency is more powerful than intensity. Small daily practice changes the brain slowly, and slow improvement, repeated daily, becomes powerful results later. Another important thing is exposure. The brain learns language through repeated exposure. The more your brain sees, hears, and uses English, the more natural English becomes. That is why daily contact with English matters greatly. You should try to listen to English daily, read English daily, speak English daily, and think about English daily. Even small daily habits help. For example, listening to English while walking, reading short English paragraphs, watching English videos, repeating English sentences loudly, learning a few useful words daily. These small habits seem simple, but repeated every day, they completely change your English level over time. Another major problem many learners have is motivation. At first they feel excited. They say, "Now I will become fluent. I will study every day." But after some days, motivation becomes weaker. This is normal. Motivation always changes. That is why discipline matters more than motivation. Successful English learners practice even when they do not feel excited because they understand something important. Consistency creates fluency, not temporary excitement. Another important lesson is building routine. When English becomes part of your daily routine, improvement becomes easier. For example, maybe every morning you listen to English for 15 minutes. Maybe every night you read 1 page in English. Maybe every afternoon you practice speaking loudly. These routines train the brain naturally. Another important truth is this: the brain remembers information better through repetition. Many learners forget vocabulary quickly because they only see words once. But when you repeat English daily, memory becomes stronger. For example, if you hear the same useful phrase every day for 1 month, your brain slowly stores it naturally. That is why repetition matters greatly. Another powerful lesson is patience. Many learners expect fast results. They practice for 2 weeks and then think, "Why am I not fluent yet?" But language learning takes time. Children spend years learning their first language. Fluency grows slowly through listening, repetition, mistakes, speaking, and daily practice. Do not rush the process. Trust the process. Another important thing is momentum. When you practice daily, English stays active inside your brain. But when you stop for many days, the brain becomes disconnected again. Starting again feels harder. That is why daily practice is powerful. Even short daily practice keeps momentum alive. Another major problem is waiting for perfect conditions. Some learners think, "I'll start tomorrow. I'll start next month. I need more free time first." But waiting slows progress. The best time to practice English is now. Even small practice today is better than perfect plans tomorrow. Another important thing is confidence. Daily practice slowly reduces fear. The more you hear English, the less strange it feels. The more you speak English, the easier speaking becomes. Confidence grows through repetition, not through thinking only. Another powerful habit is surrounding yourself with English. Try to make English part of your environment. For example, change your phone language to English. Follow English content online. Listen to English podcasts. Read simple English daily. Watch English videos with attention. The more English surrounds your life, the faster your brain adapts. Another important truth is this: fluent people are usually not people with perfect talent. They are often people with stronger consistency. They continue practicing even during difficult days. Another painful mistake many learners make is quitting too early. They study for some weeks, then stop because progress feels slow. But language growth is often invisible at first. Improvement happens quietly. One day suddenly you realize you understand more, speak better, and think faster. But this growth comes from consistent daily effort. Another major lesson is balance. Do not make English feel like punishment. Enjoy the process too. Learn through stories, podcasts, videos, conversations, songs, and interesting topics. When learning becomes enjoyable, consistency becomes easier. Another important thing is self-belief. Many learners think, "My English is weak. I learn slowly. I can never become fluent." These thoughts destroy motivation. Instead, remind yourself, every day I am improving. Small practice matters. Fluency takes time. Positive consistency creates long-term success. So remember this carefully. You do not need perfect methods. You need regular practice. Even small daily effort can completely change your English over time. Practice daily, listen daily, speak daily, read daily, think daily. Because every single day of practice is building your future English little by little. And one day, all those small daily efforts will become fluency. Lesson 2. Focus on understanding not only grammar. One of the biggest mistakes many English learners make is spending too much time only studying grammar. They memorize rules, formulas, tenses, and grammar structures for years, but still feel afraid to speak English. Why? Because language is not learned only through grammar. Language is learned through understanding, listening, repetition, communication, and real usage. Grammar is important, but grammar alone cannot create fluency. Many learners know grammar rules perfectly inside their mind, but when it is time to speak, their mind becomes confused and slow. They stop speaking because they are constantly thinking. Is this grammar correct? What tense should I use? What if I make a mistake? This creates fear and hesitation. Another important truth is this: children do not learn language by studying grammar books first. They learn language by listening, repeating, observing, understanding meaning, and speaking naturally. They hear words repeatedly until the brain understands patterns automatically. English learners should also focus more on understanding real English naturally. Another major problem is overthinking grammar while speaking. Some learners mentally translate every sentence and check grammar rules before speaking. This makes speaking very slow. Real conversations move quickly. Fluent speakers usually do not stop to analyze grammar every second. Their brain becomes familiar with English through practice and exposure. Another important thing is communication. The real goal of language is communication. If people understand your message, communication is already happening. Many learners stay silent because they fear imperfect grammar. But silence slows fluency much more than mistakes. Mistakes are normal during learning. Speaking creates improvement, not endless silent studying. Another powerful lesson is listening. The brain learns grammar naturally through repeated listening. When you hear correct English daily, your brain slowly recognizes patterns automatically. For example, if you repeatedly hear, "I'm going to work," "She likes coffee," "They were studying yesterday," your brain slowly begins understanding grammar patterns naturally without constantly memorizing complicated rules. This is called natural language absorption. Another important truth is this: grammar should support communication, not stop communication. Some learners become grammar perfectionists. They refuse to speak until every sentence feels perfect. But perfect English rarely exists even among native speakers. Real conversations include small mistakes, pauses, and simple language. Communication matters more than perfection. Another major problem is learning grammar without context. Many learners memorize isolated grammar rules but never use them in real conversations. This creates passive knowledge. They understand grammar on paper but cannot use it naturally in speaking. That is why practice matters greatly. Learn grammar through sentences, conversations, stories, listening, and real examples. This helps the brain connect grammar with real communication. Another powerful lesson is simplicity. You do not need extremely complicated grammar to speak fluently. Many fluent English speakers use simple grammar most of the time. Simple English spoken clearly and confidently sounds much better than complicated English spoken fearfully. Another important thing is confidence. Grammar fear destroys confidence. Many learners stop speaking completely because they fear making mistakes. But every fluent speaker made thousands of grammar mistakes while learning. Mistakes are not proof of failure. They are proof of practice. Another major lesson is active learning. Instead of only reading grammar rules passively, use English actively. For example, speak sentences loudly, repeat useful phrases, listen carefully to conversations, copy sentence patterns, use new grammar immediately in speaking. Active usage helps the brain remember grammar much faster. Another important truth is repetition. The brain remembers language patterns through repeated exposure. That is why listening and speaking daily help grammar improve naturally over time. The more real English you hear, the more natural grammar feels. Another painful mistake many learners make is studying difficult grammar too early. They overwhelm themselves with advanced rules before building basic communication skills. This creates confusion and frustration. Start simple. Master basic communication first. Build fluency slowly. Another important lesson is patience. Natural grammar understanding takes time. Do not expect instant perfection. Fluency develops gradually through daily listening, speaking, reading, and repetition. Another powerful thing is pattern recognition. The human brain is excellent at recognizing language patterns naturally, but this happens through exposure. That is why hearing real English repeatedly matters more than memorizing endless rules alone. Another important truth is this: fear of grammar mistakes often hurts fluency more than grammar mistakes themselves. Many learners already know enough English to communicate, but fear stops them from trying. Confidence grows through usage, not through waiting forever. Another major lesson is balance. Do not ignore grammar completely. Grammar still matters. But grammar should be balanced with listening, speaking, reading, and real communication practice. English is a living language, not only a school subject. Another powerful habit is learning phrases instead of single grammar, rules only. For example, I'm looking forward to it. Can you help me? I've never seen that before. Learning complete phrases trains grammar naturally inside real communication. Another important thing is enjoying the process. Some learners make English feel stressful by constantly worrying about mistakes, but relaxed learning often improves memory and confidence more effectively. The more enjoyable English becomes, the easier consistency becomes. So remember this carefully. Do not become trapped inside grammar fear. Focus on understanding real English. Focus on communication. Focus on listening and speaking daily. Grammar improves naturally when English becomes part of your daily life, because fluency is not built only through rules. It is built through real understanding, repeated exposure, and continuous practice. Lesson 3. Practice speaking out loud. One of the biggest mistakes many English learners make is learning English silently all the time. They read silently, listen silently, and study silently, but rarely practice speaking out loud. Then later they wonder, why can I understand English but still cannot speak fluently? The answer is simple. They trained their eyes and ears, but they never trained their mouth. Speaking is not only a mental skill, it is also a physical skill. Your mouth, tongue, lips, and voice all need practice. Just like muscles become stronger through exercise, speaking becomes easier through repetition. Another important truth is this: many learners know much more English inside their mind than they can actually speak. Why? Because passive knowledge and active speaking are different things. Understanding English silently does not automatically create speaking fluency. The mouth must practice producing English sounds regularly. That is why speaking out loud is extremely important. Another major problem is fear. Many learners feel embarrassed speaking English loudly. They think, what if I sound strange? What if I pronounce words badly? What if someone hears me? So they stay silent. But silence slows fluency. Confidence grows through speaking practice, not through hiding. Another important lesson is repetition. When you speak English loudly again and again, the brain slowly becomes faster. At first, speaking may feel uncomfortable and slow. That is normal. Every fluent speaker once struggled too, but repeated speaking trains automatic responses. Slowly, sentences begin coming more naturally. Another powerful method is reading out loud. Many learners read English silently only, but reading loudly helps greatly. It improves pronunciation, speaking speed, confidence, vocabulary, memory, and fluency. Even reading one page loudly every day can create huge improvement over time. When you read loudly, your brain connects, seeing, hearing, and speaking together. This strengthens learning greatly. Another important technique is shadowing. Shadowing means listening to English audio and repeating immediately like a mirror. For example, you hear, "Today is a beautiful day." Then you repeat loudly, "Today is a beautiful day." This trains pronunciation, rhythm, speaking speed, and natural sentence flow. Shadowing is one of the most powerful fluency techniques. Many fluent speakers improve through constant repetition and imitation. Another major lesson is speaking to yourself. Some learners think, I have nobody to practice with. But you can still practice alone. Talk about your day in English. Describe your room. Describe your plans. Describe what you are doing. For example, I am making tea today. I feel tired. I need to finish my work. These simple speaking habits train fluency daily. Another important truth is this. Fluency grows through mouth movement repetition. At first, English sounds may feel difficult because your mouth is unfamiliar with them. But the more you repeat English sounds, the easier pronunciation becomes. Your mouth slowly adapts. This is exactly how physical training works. Another major problem is waiting for perfect English before speaking. Many learners think I'll speak after my grammar becomes perfect. But fluency does not arrive before speaking. Fluency develops through speaking. Mistakes are part of the process. Another important thing is confidence. Speaking loudly builds confidence gradually. The more you hear your own English voice, the less fear you feel. Many learners avoid speaking because they are uncomfortable hearing themselves. But comfort grows through repetition. Another powerful lesson is recording yourself. Many learners improve greatly after recording their own voice. At first, this may feel strange, but it helps you notice pronunciation, speed, mistakes, and progress. And slowly, you become more comfortable speaking English naturally. Another important thing is daily practice. Speaking once a week is not enough. Even 10 or 15 minutes daily can create strong improvement over time. Small daily speaking practice is extremely powerful. Another major lesson is thinking less while speaking. Many learners stop constantly during speaking because they overthink every sentence. They try to create perfect grammar mentally before talking. This slows fluency greatly. Instead, focus on communication first. Speak simply. Keep moving forward. Confidence grows through continuous speaking. Another important truth is this. Your first goal is not perfection. Your first goal is comfort. When speaking becomes comfortable, fluency grows naturally. Another powerful habit is repeating useful phrases many times. For example, how are you? What do you think? I'm working right now. I'm trying to improve my English. Repeated phrases become automatic over time. This helps conversations become faster and smoother. Good speaking usually develops from good listening. The more English you hear daily, the easier speaking becomes. Your brain starts copying natural sentence patterns automatically. Another painful mistake many learners make is staying completely silent for months while only studying theory. But language is communication. Communication requires action. Even imperfect speaking is valuable practice. Another major lesson is patience. Speaking fluency develops slowly. At first, words come slowly. Pronunciation feels difficult, and confidence feels weak. But daily repetition changes the brain gradually. One day you suddenly notice speaking feels easier than before. That progress comes from consistent practice. Another powerful truth is this. Every fluent speaker once sounded slow and uncomfortable. Nobody starts fluent Fluency is built sentence by sentence, mistake by mistake, repetition by repetition. So remember this carefully. Do not only study English silently. Use your voice, speak loudly daily, read loudly daily, repeat sentences daily, practice shadowing daily. Talk to yourself daily because your mouth becomes fluent through practice, not through silence. Lesson 4. Stop translating everything. One of the biggest problems many English learners face is this. They translate every sentence inside their mind before speaking. First, they think in their native language. Then they try to change the sentence into English. This makes speaking slow, stressful, and confusing. Many learners understand English, but when they try to speak, their brain becomes stuck. Why? Because translation takes extra mental effort. The brain is doing two jobs at the same time, thinking in one language and changing it into another language. This slows fluency greatly. Another important truth is this. Fluent speakers usually think directly in English. They do not translate every sentence. English becomes automatic inside the mind. That is why fluent speakers answer faster and more naturally. Another major problem with constant translation is word-for-word thinking. Languages are different. Sentence structures are different. Expressions are different. When learners translate directly from their native language, sentences often sound unnatural. For example, some learners mentally translate strange sentence structures that do not sound natural in English. This creates confusion and hesitation. Another important lesson is this. Your goal should not be translate perfectly. Your goal should be think simply in English. At first, this feels difficult. That is completely normal. The brain needs training. But slowly thinking directly in English becomes easier. Another powerful method is starting with very simple thoughts. Do not try to think complicated ideas immediately. Start small. For example, I am tired. I need water. I am going to work. The weather is hot today. I like this food. These simple English thoughts train the brain gradually. Another important thing is repetition. The more often you think simple English daily, the more natural it becomes. At first, your brain may still try translating automatically. But with practice, direct English thinking slowly grows stronger. Another major mistake many learners make is trying to create perfect English mentally before speaking. They spend too much time thinking, what grammar should I use? What is the perfect word? How do I translate this exactly? Meanwhile, the conversation continues moving. This creates stress and silence. Fluent communication usually becomes easier when thinking becomes simpler. Another important truth is this. Simple English spoken naturally is much better than complicated English spoken very slowly. Do not try to sound extremely advanced all the time. Focus on clear communication first. Another powerful habit is describing your environment in English. This is excellent brain training. For example, this room is clean. My phone is on the table. I am drinking coffee. The sky looks beautiful today. This teaches the brain to connect directly with English without translation. Another important lesson is listening. The brain learns natural English patterns through listening repeatedly. When you hear English daily, your brain slowly starts recognizing common phrases, sentence structures, and natural expressions automatically. This reduces the need for translation. That is why listening practice is extremely important. Another major problem is fear of mistakes. Many learners translate too much because they fear speaking incorrectly. They want every sentence to become perfect before speaking, but perfection slows fluency. Real conversations move quickly. Sometimes simple, imperfect English is enough for communication. Another important thing is speed. Translation makes speaking slower because the brain pauses constantly. But direct English thinking increases speaking speed naturally over time. This is one reason fluent speakers sound smoother. Another powerful method is learning complete phrases instead of single words. For example, instead of learning only hungry, learn full phrases like, I'm hungry. I'm really hungry right now. Instead of learning only tired, learn I'm feeling tired today. Learning complete phrases trains natural sentence patterns directly inside the brain. Another important lesson is avoiding overthinking. Overthinking destroys fluency. Many learners know enough English already, but fear and mental translation stop them from speaking comfortably. The brain becomes trapped inside analysis, but fluency grows through flow and repetition. Another major truth is this: children learning language do not constantly translate, they connect meaning directly with words. English learners should slowly build the same habit. Another important thing is patience. Thinking directly in English does not happen overnight. It develops slowly through daily listening, daily speaking, and repeated exposure. At first, you may still translate often. That is normal. Do not become frustrated. Keep practicing. The brain adapts gradually. Another powerful exercise is inner conversation. Talk to yourself mentally in English throughout the day. For example, I need to finish my work. I should sleep earlier tonight. I want to improve my English. These small mental habits train English thinking naturally. Your brain becomes stronger in whatever it practices repeatedly. If you constantly practice translation, translation becomes stronger. If you practice direct English thinking, fluency becomes stronger. That is why daily habits matter greatly. Another painful mistake many learners make is depending too much on dictionaries and translation apps for every sentence. These tools can help sometimes, but overdependence slows natural thinking development. Try understanding English directly whenever possible. Another major lesson is confidence. Many learners already know enough basic English to think simply, but fear makes them believe they cannot. Start with simple thinking first. Small progress matters. Another important thing is enjoying the process. Do not pressure yourself constantly. Language learning should feel natural over time. The more relaxed and consistent your practice becomes, the easier fluency develops. So remember this carefully. Fluent English grows when the brain stops depending completely on translation. Think simply in English daily. Use small English thoughts daily. Describe life in English daily. Listen to real English daily. Slowly your brain will begin understanding and speaking more naturally. And one day, English will start flowing more smoothly without constant mental translation. Lesson 5. Learn real-life vocabulary. One of the biggest mistakes many English learners make is memorizing difficult vocabulary they never actually use. They learn complicated words, advanced dictionary vocabulary, and strange expressions. But during real conversations, they still struggle to speak simple English. Why? Because fluency grows through useful vocabulary, not difficult vocabulary. Real communication usually uses simple, everyday words. That is why learning real-life vocabulary is very important. Focus on words related to daily routine, food, shopping, work, travel, emotions, family, health, and conversations. These are the words people use constantly. For example, I'm tired. I'm hungry. I need help. How was your day? I'm going to work. These simple phrases are extremely powerful because they are useful daily. Another important thing is repetition. When you use useful vocabulary repeatedly, your brain remembers it naturally. But difficult unused words are forgotten quickly. Another powerful habit is learning vocabulary through sentences. Do not only memorize one word, learn full examples. For example, instead of learning hungry, learn I'm really hungry right now. This helps your brain remember vocabulary naturally inside communication. The goal is not sounding difficult. The goal is speaking naturally and confidently. Lesson 6. Improve listening every day. Listening is one of the most important English skills. Many learners struggle with speaking because they rarely listen to real English consistently. Your ears need training, just like your mouth needs training. The more English you hear daily, the more natural English becomes. At first, listening may feel difficult. Native speakers may sound too fast, unclear, or confusing. That is normal. Do not become discouraged. The brain slowly adapts through repeated listening. Another important thing is active listening. Do not only play English in the background while doing other things. Sometimes listen with full attention. Notice pronunciation, sentence patterns, rhythm, and common phrases. This improves understanding much faster. You can listen to podcasts, YouTube videos, interviews, conversations, audiobooks, and simple English content. Another powerful habit is repeating after speakers. Pause the audio and copy the pronunciation loudly. This improves listening, speaking, pronunciation, and fluency together. The more English enters your ears daily, the easier speaking becomes naturally. Lesson 7. Stay focused while learning. Many learners study English for hours, but with very little focus. They check phones constantly, open social media, get distracted, and lose concentration quickly. This weakens learning greatly. Deep focus helps the brain learn faster. One focused hour is often more powerful than many distracted hours. Another important thing is environment. A noisy or distracting environment makes concentration difficult. Try creating a calm study environment when practicing English. Put the phone away, reduce distractions, and focus fully. Another important truth is this: the brain learns better during concentrated attention. That is why focused learning sessions are extremely powerful. Another major mistake is multitasking. Some learners try watching videos, chatting, scrolling social media, and studying English all at the same time. This reduces memory and concentration. Focus on one thing at a time. Another important thing is patience. Do not compare your progress constantly with others. Everyone learns differently. Focus on improving yourself little by little every day. Small focused improvement becomes powerful over time. Lesson 8. Don't fear mistakes. Fear destroys many English learners. Some people understand English quite well but stay silent because they fear making mistakes. They think, what if people laugh? What if my grammar is wrong? What if my pronunciation sounds bad? So they avoid speaking, but this slows improvement greatly. Mistakes are not proof of failure. Mistakes are proof that you are learning. Every fluent English speaker made thousands of mistakes while learning. Nobody becomes fluent without errors. Another important truth is this: fear creates hesitation. Hesitation slows fluency. Many learners stop speaking every few seconds because they fear mistakes too much. But communication matters more than perfection. Another powerful lesson is courage. Speaking imperfect English confidently is much better than staying silent forever. Confidence grows through action, not through waiting. Another important thing is mindset. Instead of thinking I made a mistake, think I learned something new. This creates healthier learning. The people who improve fastest are often people who are not afraid of looking imperfect. They continue speaking, practicing, and learning. That is how fluency grows. Lesson 9. Never give up too early. One of the biggest reasons many people never become fluent is simple. They quit too early. They practice English for a few weeks or months, then become frustrated because fluency did not arrive quickly. But language learning takes time. Fluency grows slowly through daily repetition, listening, speaking, mistakes, and consistency. Some days feel exciting, some days feel difficult. That is normal. Another important truth is this: progress is often invisible at first. Many learners think I'm not improving. But slowly the brain is changing quietly. One day suddenly you realize you understand more, speak faster, and feel more comfortable. That progress came from consistent effort. Another powerful lesson is patience. English is not a race. Every learner has a different journey. The people who succeed are usually not the smartest learners. They are the learners who continue practicing during difficult days. Consistency beats motivation. Never let temporary frustration stop long-term growth. Lesson 10. Believe that you can improve. Mindset matters greatly in English learning. Many learners destroy their confidence with negative self-talk. They constantly think my English is bad. I'm too slow. I can never become fluent. These thoughts create fear and discouragement. Your brain listens to your thoughts constantly. That is why positive thinking matters. Strong learners think differently. They say, I'm improving every day. Mistakes help me learn. I will continue practicing. I can become fluent with time. Belief creates motivation. Motivation creates action, and action creates improvement. Another important truth is this: you do not need perfect English to speak confidently. You simply need courage to continue. Fluency grows step by step, word by word, sentence by sentence, day by day. Another powerful lesson is self-belief. Many people become fluent, not because they were naturally talented, but because they refused to give up on themselves. So remember this carefully. Your English future depends greatly on your mindset. Believe in your ability to improve. Practice daily. Stay patient. Keep moving forward, because one day all your small daily efforts will become fluency. Remember, learning English is not about being perfect. It is about practicing every day, staying focused, believing in yourself, and never giving up. Keep listening, keep speaking, keep improving, and slowly your English will become more fluent and confident. If you enjoyed this video, like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel for more powerful English learning lessons.